Okay, so I hang out a lot with older folks because I volunteered my time to do technical support for them. I don't get paid for this, so I might as well share some of my favorite things I've seen while helping older people with their devices. So this story just happened recently, and it's my favorite so far. Essentially, this older woman got a new phone and tablet. We got her set up with an eSIM until she could take it down to the store to get the physical SIM card into the phone. We had her do this because the tray to get a physical SIM card was stuck, and I couldn't get it open, because that's an issue I can't fix. So she was able to go down to the store the other day and get the tray open and put the physical SIM tray open. The store went ahead and put the SIM card in, which is cool, that's great. However, she forgot she needed to disable the eSIM card that's in her phone in order to properly use the carrier without any potential issues. And guess what? It's just my luck, an issue did come up. So this older woman calls me up and is like, hey, there's this problem with my carrier. And then I'm like, okay, shoot, what's going on? She proceeded to say to me, my phone is saying I can only do emergency phone calls. Now cut to absolute Gen Z confusion. Now mind you, I'm currently talking to her through a phone call. So, I say, you do realize you've called me right now and you're telling me this through said phone call. I then had to proceed to explain to her phones currently reading both SIMs at the moment. And since they are both from the same carrier, the phone's confused. So we're gonna have to disable the eSIM so it's just the physical SIM card left. She does not know how to do that. So as of writing this script, I told her she could come over to my place and I'd help her with that. So I will update you on the next episode of helping older folks with technology, because I might as well make a series out of this. Welcome to the Helping Older Folks with Technology show, because Jesus, if I have to suffer, you do too. Okay, so you remember that older lady that needed help with the eSIM? Yeah, okay, great. Here's an update on that story. I convinced her to keep the eSIM, so now I didn't have to disable the eSIM. That's great. So we do not need the physical SIM now that can rot in her phone as far as I'm concerned. Also, side note, the only reason why she didn't want the eSIM in the first place is because she doesn't trust only electronic things, because she was concerned the eSIM would randomly die. But I managed to convince her it won't do that. So there's that problem taken care of. She was hearing none of that when I was setting up the phone for the first time, so at least we have a win for that today. However, when she got over here, she came with 40 different other questions. Or at least it felt like 40 questions. And I'm like, Jesus woman, please have mercy on my poor soul. It can only handle so much helping with technology. Send help, please. Can somebody send a doctor to revive my poor damaged soul? Anyways, back to the topic here. So, out of the kindness of my heart, I help her with these questions. First one was fixing the time on the clock. That was easy. I fixed it by switching the main SIM to her eSIM. Next question, how do I save my photos from my messages to Google Photos? Easy enough, hold and press the photo and then upload the photos to Google Photos using a little upload button on her phone. That's easy enough for her to figure out. I then taught her how to do it. Then she asked me about some of her contacts and was like, hey, it says my contacts aren't saved. I checked. They were indeed saved, and the only ones she needs are already saved, so she doesn't need to worry about that. And the contacts that her phone says aren't saved is Telos customer service phone number and the phone number for a website called White Pages. After that, I think I spent the next hour fixing random things on her phone that she had managed to break already. I can't remember all of what I fixed, but what I told you guys in this story were the main ones. But at least I didn't mind fixing all of that for her, and now she's all set for a few years. Welcome to the Helping Older Folks with Technology show. Okay, so we're doing another one of these helping older folks with their devices stories, because Jesus, if I have to suffer, you do too. So one day I was helping this older woman from France. She speaks perfectly good English, but also still speaks French, which is cool as all heck. The thing is, though, she is hilarious with her technology. At least when it comes to how she pays her rent in America. So the thing is, she uses this thing called Direct Biller to pay her rent, which in her mind at least pays it directly to the rental company. And it's through like a secure website type thing. However, somehow this woman manages to break this website once a month. And it gives her this error message that simply says, please open a new window and try again. So whenever this happens, she calls me. Then I walk her through getting back to the website and back to the login page for Direct Biller so she can pay her rent. because we don't want late fees. However, this woman makes me food every time I go over there. So essentially, once a month this woman makes me food, we eat, and I fix her device. There's just one thing though, she can also pay her rent via this thing called Appfolio, which is a third-party website that would only charge her a $2.49 charge. Which at this point I think it would be cheaper for her to pay that convenience fee than feed me every time I come to fix the website she uses to pay her rent. I try to tell her this, but I think she'd rather make me food at this point for some reason. I have a sneaking suspicion it's so she can have someone to keep her company for a little bit, because she seems a bit lonely. So I guess we have a standing lunch or dinner date once a month. Welcome to the Helping Older Folks with Technology show. Because Jesus, if I have to suffer, you do too. On today's episode, we have a real fun one. Not really, but that's what we tell ourselves. This is someone I don't get too often, fortunately, but frequently enough she deserves her own video. So this older woman calls me occasionally for tech support, but only when she needs to buy something online. Every single time it's the same exact questions. The silliest one though is this website safe to buy from? They're not gonna steal my information, right? Yet she's buying from like Amazon. So I have to explain every time that it's extremely unlikely Amazon is going to steal her information. In fact, I tell her I'm pretty confident that they can't steal her information. I reassure her that they haven't stolen my information yet, so they won't steal hers. I also remind her that she's paying with her credit card. Her credit card has fraud protection. If her information was stolen, she's not going to lose any money, because her bank should cover it and block the charge. It's just funny explaining this to her every time she needs to buy something like socks online. She's just so paranoid about fraud and people stealing her information at this point, it's become funny. But at least I can give her some peace of mind whenever I reassure her that her money is not going to be stolen. If she buys something from Target or Amazon from their online websites. Welcome to the Helping Older Folks with Technology show. Because Jesus, if I have to suffer, you do too. Now this one's just cute, at least I think it is. So occasionally I visit this 96-year-old woman. At this point I'm amazed this woman is still alive. However, I visit her to help her fix her tablet and to make sure she's alive. She always has so many questions about it. And I spend like 4 hours there, which is understandably tiring. And each time it's the same questions, like how do I make this a file or how do I download this? However, this woman is adorable. Because she wants me to show her how to do these things. So I show her and she writes down in a little book my instructions. Each time I visit, she also makes me coffee or tea, which is very nice of her. Which is great because I have coffee with this 96-year-old very sweet older woman and help her understand her tablet. She does not remember what I've taught her the next time I visit. But I don't mind teaching her again or answering any questions about the instructions that I left. She also asks me every single time about the USB drive she has for her computer. And if she has all of her photos on there. Newsflash, she does. And I check for her every time that she has all of her pictures on there and that it's all safe. She's honestly super cute. Because she really does try to understand the technology that I'm trying to explain to her. I don't think she understands it half the time, but at least she's trying. And she gets props for that. Welcome to the Helping Older Folks with Technology show. Because Jesus, if I have to suffer, you do too. Okay, so this one is more of a crash out type episode because, dear God, I suffer with this one. This one is terrifying. This one older woman gets a new tablet and or a phone like every 2 to 4 years. Which is fine if she knew how to set the darn things up by now. But she does not. She needs help setting the tablet or phone up. And so she calls me. That's fine. If it wasn't a 3 fucking day process, it takes me 3 days to set up her devices. Because while she's learning how to use the new device and pushing buttons, she breaks the thing. I don't know how it's possible for her to do that, but she does. So I go back and forth between my place and her place to fix her tablet or phone for the entirety of those 3 days. The last time I fixed her devices, it was a 4-day process. So essentially, whenever I see this woman's name show up on my fucking phone, I start sweating. Because it's like, oh dear God, what now? After I answer the phone and schedule a time for her to come over, so I can fix her tablet and or phone, I immediately take like a week off of work. Because I know I'm gonna need to help her with her device for like 3 days, and have like a couple of days to recoup from the mental exhaustion. At this point, whenever I help her with setting up her technology, It feels like that one meme sound that goes like, I'm back in the fucking building again. Here, I'll just play the sound for you because I can't remember how it goes. It's this one right here.
I can finally leave. Martha, I'm coming home, sweetie. I'm back in the fucking building again!
Hell, I might even set her ringtone to that meme sound and then set her text. Tone to disdain by corpse so I can at least get a little giggle. Because it'd be funny if I get a text from her and this just played.
Touch it tight.